Good morning, Tarot Sphere. It's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures here. And I am here because yesterday my computer or router, I'm still not really sure which one it was, well, somebody crapped out. So I owe two people readings. The first one would be Angela. Angela Pisces, 13, I believe her full handle was. Wanted a general September energies reading. So we're going to go ahead and do that since it is September 1st with Pagan Other Worlds. This is a very autumny feeling deck. And then the other one I owed to Mystic Tea. It was mystical, the mystical tea and tarot. It was a very long, I want to say it's Mystic Tea and Tarot, but I'm not sure that that is correct. Amy, oh my God, good morning. How are you? I feel like I haven't seen or talked to you in about 1,000 years. Are you back at school? Are you back to teaching? I know I saw the children were going back, but I didn't know if you were back yet. Oh my goodness. Missed you so much, Ladyface. So yeah, I owe a couple of peeps some readings because my computer is stoopy. Oh, you start back next week? So your nuggets started first? That's kind of cool. That gives you like a week to like have some downtime, I guess. So, oh, after Labor Day, really? I mean, good for them, but that explains why it's still been so busy this week. Cape Cod started this week. They went back on Wednesday. They have good morning, Creative Coffee. How are you? I'm making up for the 2 readings that I didn't get to yesterday because I had some technical difficulties, and then I was like, I'm going to try and do this at work, and then it just never panned out. So okay, so first up, we've got Angela Pisces 13. If she pops on, or if anybody sees her in the chat, let her know that her reading is on here for like first thing. Okay. I think we're probably like a few minutes. Oh, the nuggets do get out earlier than you do. But you know what? Let future Amy worry about that. Right now, let present Amy can just enjoy like the few days that she has extra. Future Amy can deal with that shit. All right, so for Angela, Angela got, I don't know if she's going to pop on, but for her general September energies, Angela, you received the 8 of Pentacles, which is a beautiful, beautiful card with this deck. You also received the Queen of Wands. And you received Judgment. So this is all kind of telling me that there is something that you either like a hobby or an interest or like a back to school, not necessarily a back to school, but like there's something that you are really interested in learning in, getting better at, or doing. And now is, you know, carpe diem. The Queen of Wands is somebody who definitely, I always like to think of her as like a Ginny or a Mrs. Weasley, somebody who just really, you know, kind of like nurturingly grasps like a fire, like nurturingly grasps a fiery passion. Like, you know, eventually she's going to channel it into motherhood and what have you. But creative. What decks have you ordered? Creative Coffee has ordered some new Oracle decks, which is awesome. But anyway, the Queen of Wands is somebody that, like I said, she harnesses her creative energy, but in a very nurturing and productive way. You know, she's very into like more of the emotional than the mental side of the passion of the wands. The King, I think, is more action, and she's more like good feels times. And then the Eight of Pentacles is definitely somebody who has, you know, like you're learning something, you're growing something, you're working on something. It's somebody who is definitely like trying something out. Traditionally, it's called like the apprentice card. It's somebody who is like really chipping away and working at becoming perfect at one thing. Hi, Carice, how are you? Just making up for those readings I got booted off of the computer for yesterday. So yeah, the Eight of Wands is definitely about like working at something and becoming perfect, like growing, and where the Seven of Pentacles is kind of like harvesting. I would say the Eight is more of like the getting to the harvest, like or even like the taking the raw material and turning it into something like even more. So, and then Judgment is a card of rebirth and remaking, and just kind of like, are you happy with where you are? Did you want to learn this thing that you're passionate about? Like, do you probably have the time to do it right now? The Judgment card is kind of like a little like, come on, let's go. Like, you know, you've got this time, you know, you've got the thing that you wanted to work on. So like a remaking almost. Even maybe you're repassionate about remaking yourself. I don't know. Maybe you're, but either way, like the Judgment card, it kind of calls into question whether or not you're creating your own roadblock here. Like it's are you procrastinating a little bit? Like maybe you should, because it's you got the time now. Like what are you? It's like the nagging grandma. Like, I mean, you know, I support you, but maybe you're creating your own roadblocks. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's kind of the energy I'm getting from this card. So I hope that this is a sensible, resonating reading for Angela for the month of September. I hope that she gets to see this, and I hope it makes sense for her. Okay, and then we had T and the mystical tea and tarot was a very creative. I like your live chats, or I like when you're on my live chats. Creative coffee is very awesome, you guys. Very participatory, awesome stuff to say always. Hilarious. So what decks did you get? Winged Enchantment. I feel like I'm familiar with that, but not really. Flower of Life cards. I'm not familiar with that one. And then the Ancient Animal Wisdom deck. You're going to have to do a video for the Flower of Life cards. And I think I've seen Ancient Animal Wisdom around before. I might even have that one. It's getting to the point where I don't even remember what decks I have, you guys. I'm thinking it might be time to thin out the herd a bit. Like, I know which decks I'm drawn to. I know which decks I'm not, but then I don't want to learn them. Like, maybe like at one point there's going to be like a message in one of those decks for somebody, and I'm going to need it. I don't know. I don't have Flower of Life, and I know I don't have Winged Enchantment. The Ancient Wisdom of Animals one I might have. Okay, so for mystical tea, I'm just going to call it mystical tea. You know who you are, mystical tea. I'll have to look it up and let you know whether or not it's one I have. All right. Mystical tea. Okay. Sorry, the shuffling is taking really long for whatever reason. I'm not usually such a long shuffler. Like, I am a multi-shuffler, but for whatever reason, that round took a while. All right, so we've got one, and I want that one. Okay. So, hello, Lisa. How are you? Long time no see. Okay. Oh, lots of pentacles, you guys. Pentacles and cups for lots of pentacles overall in the readings for September, but and this one's got a nice September reveal. Okay, so for mystical tea, all right, you got this mystical tea, got the Six of Pentacles, which is it's typically like the charitable giving card. It also could be like in need of charity, or you're in a place to give charity. It doesn't always have to be money based. It could be time. It could be like as simple as lending an ear. or it could be as simple as needing somebody to listen to you. But yeah, it's definitely like you get the Six of Pentacles, and sometimes it could indicate money changing hands too, from a more practical like, okay, like what could this literally mean? It could literally be a changing of hands as far as money is concerned. And then you've got the Three of Cups, which is a card of celebration. Also look up pumpkin. I'm so excited. It's pumpkin spice season. So a card of celebration, a card of reconnecting with friends, a card of maybe having a little bit too much to drink sometimes. But it's definitely like, you know, it's girls, like it always reminds me of like girls' night out. And then the Four of Cups, which is interesting because these two cards are usually pretty like awesome. But the Four of Cups is like having it all, but not like realizing that you have it all, I want to say. Also, this card is a really interesting one, and I've touched upon it before in a reading. But you have this tree that's isolated and obviously has been caught in some harsh wind. Like, look at the way that the wind is blowing. Like it's grown harder and stronger for its being separated, and these two trees in the backyard, like, yeah, they got friends, they're sheltered, but they haven't grown as much. So I mean, this tree is a little jaded and it's been through some stuff. So I think that's kind of why it's not like, you know, it's, you know, traditionally it's a guy like turning being harumph. I don't want that thing. So it's like, yeah, you've been jaded. Like you don't like it. You maybe not appreciating the stuff that you want because you've been through whatever, and you're not exactly seeing the world through rose-colored glasses anymore. But like you're also seeing the world through shit-colored glasses. Like, yeah, you're stronger, but like maybe recapture some of your childlike wonder. Maybe it's time to reach out to the people that you've kind of like, yeah, they're not as maybe cynical, or as like they're not as cynical, or I tend to be a little cynical, but I like to call it realistic, which isn't, I know it's not realistic, but you know, it's the positive spin I put on it. So maybe they're not as, you know, like glass half empty as you are, and you've lost touch that way. But like, look at all the tree friends that they have, and look at all the tree friends you have. Like, you've got like this one little tree over here, but even that tree is like, no. So maybe it's time to put your rose-colored glasses back on. And in order, and that's going to be the thing about enjoying your fall. So put your rose-colored glasses back on, maybe do something charitable, or do something like, even if it's as simple, we're all tarot readers, right? Maybe if it's as simple as giving away a couple of readings, or you could volunteer somewhere, you could donate old books, like something that maybe cleans and clears and brings back a little positivity into your life. And I think you'll find that when you do that, people find their way back to you, and you can reconnect, and you can have like an awesome time with some friends that, you know, maybe you thought you had outgrown, or maybe you thought didn't necessarily like your negativity anymore. Not that you're a negative person, but I think this whole reading is about cleaning and clearing some of that negativity, and like recapturing some of the wonder, I guess. So I hope that made sense. I also really enjoy the little monarch butterflies and stuff in here. The butterflies are a card of transformation and growth. The butterflies aren't a card, but butterflies themselves are a symbol of transformation and growth, and of transitioning from one state to another. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully this reading has some meaning for you. Got a little deep. Pagan Other Worlds, ladies and gentlemen, kicking you in the nuts since, I don't know, when did that deck come out? Like 2015, 2016? Oh my God. Does it say on the box? 2016. Kicking you in the box. Kicking you kicking you in the nuts since 2016. The feels, all of them. Okay, so did anybody else want a reading? I've got time for like one or two more. You just put it in the, oh, Creative says she's the tree, or he's the tree, or they're the tree. Oh, are you Creative? You're not the tree. I mean, you could be the tree. I don't know. The fates aligned it today. Oh my goodness. Lisa says that clearly that normally she never catches the morning, but the fates aligned today. So that was awesome, Lisa. I'm super glad that you're here. Amy would like a reading. How you can make this year the best school year ever. All right, we'll do Pagan for that one as well. I love this deck. When I got this deck, I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, but I love that it's like it's so pretty and Renaissance-y, and that's not usually a time period that I'm drawn to. Absolutely. So we'll do Amy's, and then we'll do creatives, and then if we have time, we'll take somebody else. Yeah, normally I'm not drawn to like Renaissance style art, but for whatever reason, so I fought this deck tooth and nail, and then I finally got it because the Supra deck had their Kickstarter, and I was like, well, maybe I like it. Maybe like I like the Supra. Maybe like it will work. It looks like it might work well with Pagan Otherworlds. So let me just get Pagan Otherworlds. Worst case scenario, I flip it. But I love it. I love it. All right. Good morning, Carrie. How are you? Aw. And Lisa says she likes the banter. Oh, some days I think my banter falls flat, but I'm glad you love it. Let's see. Ooh, you had two Okay, no, I thought they were flippers, but it turns out it was just me being a stupid shuffler. So I'm just gonna put these right back. I'm just gonna put those right back. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. You know what? I just need to knock this off. For whatever reason, I just cannot shuffle for you, Amy. Read that any way you will. Maybe that's part of the reading. I feel like that was significant for some reason. I had a hard time mixing the cards up for you. There we go. It's a little better. That one definitely was fighting me though, so we'll take that one. Hello, Cosmic Creeper. How are you? Okay. Huh. All right. So we have, first of all, the one that was fighting me to come out for you was the Five of Cups, which is really interesting. There's a sense of loss going on there for whatever reason, which I think is probably going to overshadow the whole year, which is really sad. And then my cat is going to play with stuff in the background and be obnoxious. Okay. Otherwise, the reading looks great. You got a, loss of the sense of summer, I suppose. You got the Lover's card, which, I don't know. I don't think that that's, it's not everybody's like, oh yeah, lovers, and they get a like a feely, like touchy, awesome, like romantically sense from this card. I always see this as a card of making decisions and moving from, a relationship of some sort changing. It's not always the traditional lovers. So, I don't know, like again, you had talked about maybe moving districts, moving grades, maybe that's a decision that you're finally going to make this year, or maybe something is finally going to come of that. Like I don't know. Like maybe this is the year that it, like it kind of gets put in motion. I know you've been hemming and hawing about it for a while, but this is definitely like a change in status, kind of a feel for me. And then you also got the Six of Pentacles, which again, I get a card of charitable giving. So this, where you're a teacher, you already give a lot of yourself. Maybe like with this sense of loss card is like your sad feels about transitioning grades. I would love to see you transition grades. You've talked about it a long, long time. So, but I feel like this is kind of the thing that holds you back. Like, you really do love the grade you teach. It's just you find it difficult and you would prefer to teach a different grade. But keeping that in mind and keeping the possibility of changing grades in mind, I think that, you know, maybe this is the year that you just give everything that you have to these kids. Like, kind of like if you're going to go out from this grade, like, go out with a bang, go out with like a bang. Like, you've got something you've been holding back and you've got more to give the kids in this grade. Like, you've got something you've been wanting to try, something you've been wanting to do. Like, you know, it's beneficial. It's time to do that thing. And then you also got the 10 of Cups, which is like a fantastic, as far as making the school year the best. Like, this is about, like, you know, a sense of family, sense of coming together, a sense of, like, it's like rays of rainbows shining down and being like, amazing. So I think that you really are going to do everything that you can do to make the school year the best. I think you need to kind of figure out what it is that you've kind of been like tilting back on to make it the best. Like what has kept you from doing it in years past. But once you figure that out and once you finally do it, it's gonna, like, you're really gonna have, like, the kids this year, I think you're gonna love them. They'll love you. You'll of course have your problem kids, but you'll have some really good kids this year. And I think you're gonna, yeah, I think you're really gonna, it is gonna be a really great school year for you. I think it's also going to be, like, I really think that you should probably see about making it your last year in this grade, though. And that's just my own personal feel. Like, I'm totally tying in my own personal feels in this, like, because we've talked about it, like, ad nauseum. Like, I think the grade that you want to teach is 8th grade. So maybe look into teaching 8th or maybe even 10th grade. What? This is a 10. So I don't know. Maybe it's time to start teaching an older group of kids. But in the meantime, you've got, like, really awesome ideas to make this the best. You already have the ideas. It's just maybe digging deep to implement them. You might have to pay for a little bit of yourself personally. Again, card of charitable giving. Maybe do a fundraiser or something. But yeah, I mean, it's time for you to make a decision about teaching the grade that you're teaching. And then, there is, again, feeling that sense of loss. So don't let this overshadow what is going to be an amazing year, but just know that, there's something you got to make a decision about, which is what the first 3 are telling me. But once you do, it's going to be all rainbows and sunshine. Like, none, I'm not a rainbows and sunshine person. So I hope that helps. Oh my God, you're gonna sneak grammar in? I thought that was, like, illegal in Massachusetts now to teach grammar. I joke, of course, but, like, I secretly think that it might be. Okay, so now we wanted to do creative coffee. Wanted a general reading for self-love. Yeah, I mean, that's the story of everybody's life, is there's always another decision to make. You already kind of know what that decision is, though. That's the thing. Like, it's just, that wasn't a card of, like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, you already know the direction which you're leaning. Like, just pull that trigger, yo. Okay, so creative coffee wanted a self-love. Oh my God, yay, I was right. So when I facetiously said I thought it was against the rules to teach grammar, apparently 5 years ago they were told explicitly not to teach grammar. And the district has changed their mind, which is fantastic, because if I see another person abuse a poor comma or use a semicolon where they're not supposed to use one, or put a period where they could put a semicolon, or put a comma where they should put a semicolon, like, there, and there. It's not that hard, people. It's not that hard. Self-love for September for creative coffee. We got this. We're going to stick with pagan because it just makes me want pumpkin spice coffee. No, that would be my actual Ancient Wise one in the background. So cosmic. I had a pet psychic, no, not a pet psychic, an animal communicator. She does Reiki on animals, and sometimes she gets messages and sometimes she doesn't. But apparently Tasha has been very chatty to her in her, Tasha has been very chatty to her in her meditations, and prefers to be called the Ancient Wise One because he is an Ancient Wise One and he's been reincarnated many times, and this time he's a bird. I don't know how I feel about that. But the one singing in the background right now is my actual Ancient Wise One. He's my little cockatiel that's been hanging around with me since I was in the 6th grade. Like how I have kept him alive, I have no idea, but he's awesome and we love him. His name is Sammy and he sings a Superman theme really poorly. Okay, so for Cosmic Creep, not for Cosmic Creeper, for Creative Coffee. Okay, you got the 4 of Swords. Take naps, like rest up. Oh my God, whatever it is that you're doing that's keeping you awake at night, knock it off. And then you got the 9 of Cups, which is traditionally called the wish card sometimes. I like how they put a toad there for the guy because the guy in the traditional Rider-Waite deck is kind of a fucking toad. Positive affirmations would be nice, but the thing about the guy in the Rider-Waite is he's always smug. There's a sense of smugness, which makes him kind of ugly. And apparently I'm not the only one that's picked up on that. And I think that's why they put a toad there is, well, you know, it's a frog, it's a toad, it's whatever. But like the guy is kind of a toad. So I would say like, yes, definitely like not necessarily make wishes because I mean, you know, it's a wish card. I totally would think that would be part of it. But I think maybe working in some positive affirmations, like maybe changing some things, you know, doing like not necessarily ritual, but like maybe meditating and being like trying to look on the, like, okay, if you're gonna smash things, like if you're gonna be like negative about something, also think about something positive about it, like, you know, glass half full, glass half empty kind of thing. Like you can have your glass half empty moment, but like maybe follow it up with a glass half full, like, you know, try and be positive about things, but also maybe check yourself when you're being a little smug. Check yourself when you look like that jackass on the 9 of Cups, basically. Like if you find yourself being like no, stay humble, like stay humble. And that'll definitely help to put you in a sense of mind for having a little more gratitude for the things that do come your way. And then let's see, the World card. This suggests to me, not so much an ending or a beginning, but the World card always kind of reminds me of the Magician. And the Magician's got all the things and he can make the stuff. The World card is, you know, is the guy or gal that has already put those things together and has made what they want. So this would suggest to me that you already have the tools for self-care. It's just a matter of figuring out a way to implement them that works for you. And once you do, like, it's going to be awesome. So again, I mean, you know, you already have some tools for self-care. Like you probably already meditate, you read cards, you probably already do positive affirmations. I think it's about incorporating them into a consistent or a smart daily practice, if it will, but a daily practice that really works for you, as opposed to maybe, I don't know if you've been all over the place or if sometimes you just don't do your daily practice, or maybe like, you know, keep it simple, stupid. Maybe like, I think you need to follow the KISS method here. You know, just figure out something that works for you that you can fit into your day. If you want to expand on it one day, that's fine. But I think consistency is key here for you. You know, like I said, this person's got it together. At the end of their journey, they've already figured shit out. I think like you just, again, you have the tools, you know, all the things. It's just putting them together in a way that works for you. So I don't know if that helped you at all. But I think this is like the big one. This is the big tip that you got the Four of Swords is it's like a standstill. So it's a standstill card. It's a card of rest. It's a card of contemplation. It's a card, usually, sometimes it's a card of stalemate. But for you, I think it's like maybe get a little more rest than you have been getting. You know, whether that be through meditation or naps, or maybe going to bed at a consistent time. I think for you, this is probably mostly about consistency and positivity. So I think that is that. He is a toad. Leona says he's a toad. He is such a toad. Oh, Carrie. It's Carrie, breakfast club is basically whatever I feel like talking about that day. We all just kind of hang out, and it's been a while since I've done readings, so I thought maybe I would do some readings. I started doing readings yesterday, and then my computer crapped out as far as the router and stuff was concerned. So I finished, so I finished doing the readings, and then I did a couple more this morning. So it's for requesting readings, it's for talking about tarot, it's for it's basically whatever. I think the next one I got a couple of singing bowls, so we might talk about those. There's my cat being a turd again, jumping up on my shelf of dangerous chemicals. I'm gonna remove him from the room. All right. So anyway, Fiona says he looks like somebody, the Nine of Cups guy looks like somebody who totally does a lot of humble bragging. And he does. Don't be the Nine of Cups guy. All right. So anyway, you guys, I'm sorry there was somebody's reading I didn't get to, but it is 10:09 and I was supposed to have opened the shop 9 minutes ago. Where is she? Ella. So Ella, you know what? I'll pull Ella's cards real quick. Real quick. So Ella was creative blockage, I think. Creative energy. Okay, we'll pull some creative energy cards. And then I really have to go. And the cat removed himself from my shelf of dangerous chemicals, so that's good. What do you want, Tune? All right, come here. Come here. Let's see. Yes, hello. Hello, yes, hello to you. He wants in on the action for whatever reason. Enjoy that cat butt. Enjoy it in your day. He's adorable, really. There we go. Sorry, he muted my, sorry, I got the sound back. He muted my microphone. Everyone, the cat muted my microphone. Okay, so for Ella, like, oh my God, he did turn off the sound. Okay, so the sound should be back. His fault. It's all his fault. Okay, so I hope the sound is back for you guys now. But anyway, so for Ella's creative blockage, you got the Four of Cups is stalking us today. Okay, so we got the Four of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. Okay, interesting reading. Lots of cuppies today for us. So the Four of Cups is, you know, again, the card of like, you're being handed something good and you feel kind of meh about it, and you just ungrateful and jaded. Like, you've had some ideas and you've just felt kind of meh about them. I mean, maybe they're good ideas. Maybe you should revisit those ideas. Stop being kind of cranky pants about your creative block, because all you're doing is reinforcing said block. Like, even if you have an idea and you think it's a shit idea, too bad, paint it or create it or write it or whatever it is that you do creatively. Do that idea. Creativity is a muscle and you need to exercise it. You can't expect to quit a workout for like 3 months and then come back to it and be able to lift the same thing or run the same distance or what have you. So even if you have what you think is a crap idea, maybe see that idea to fruition, like, or at least, do, even if you did it half-assed, like, just do it. Just don't stop like turning your nose up at ideas that you're having. And then the 10 of Pentacles is a card of legacy. And I think here, creatively, you're probably a little too worried about creating like your next big masterpiece. And we all, to use Leonardo da Vinci as a very, because it's Renaissance paintings, as a very obvious reference for this. We're all worried about our Mona Lisas. We're all worried about like our huge next amazing creation. But like, we forget that like that guy had like a Hoarders episode worth of notebooks filled with bullshit. Like, it was just like, he had some ridiculousness. He had some brilliance going on in those notebooks as well, but like some of that shit in those notebooks was just stupid. So I mean, like, he had his share of doodles. He had his share of like ridiculous writings. He had his share of like, don't be afraid to embrace the bullshit. Like, you need those like little mini exercises. Again, I think this kind of goes back to like, stop tossing away your little ideas and waiting for your next big creative thing. Like, those little things, those little doodles, those little writings, those little like scrap works, those are important. Those keep the wheels greased. Like, don't forget to grease your wheels is kind of where this is going. And then the 8 of Cups is about knowing when to walk away. And this is hard for people, for creative types. If you have a project that has just been like, you loved it at first and you poured your heart and soul into it, it remains unfinished, and like it's kind of holding you back from finishing the rest of your projects, maybe it's time to walk away from it for a little while. Maybe it's time to walk away from that big project and being like, why can't I finish this one thing that I absolutely love to do? And it's time to focus on the little tiny bullshits. Like, do the little stuff, take a break from this, and then maybe you can come back to it with fresh eyes. And if you never come back to it, it's not that big a deal. We also forget that Leonardo da Vinci spent his entire life painting the Mona Lisa. Like, he never finished it. It's an unfinished work. And we all think it is the shit, like, for whatever reason. So like, again, if you never finish it, like, it still doesn't mean it's not going to be your greatest masterpiece. It's just, some things are always going to be a work in progress. But, sometimes you have to leave it for a while and then come back to it. It's like your dinosaur. It's like, don't lose your dinosaur. Be a doctor for a while and then come back to it, for those who love Step Brothers. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. And then, yes, feline sound tech. I hope you all managed to enjoy that little break with no sound that Tuna Fish Casserole gave us. And he's left the building. So I'm going to also leave the building. I'm going to head off to work. Thank you, you guys. I hope that that was helpful for Ella. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a good morning, Tarot Sphere, and I'll see you this weekend for a chat of some sort. Bye.